Good evening, my friends. I'm Taylor, your casual crypt keeper, and I've got something for you today. Siren Head. Now perhaps you've heard the legends or seen photos of this creature, where it's captured the attention of paranormal enthusiasts of all ages. But what are its origins? Where did it come from, and what does it want? We'll get into all of that. We'll separate the fact from fiction. Come sit by the fire as we investigate the truth and legends of Siren Head, with the top 5 Siren Head sightings we can no longer ignore. Has this creature chilled you out as much as it has me? Let me know down below if you have a favorite Siren Head piece of work. Now before we dive right into the 5, I wanted to take a quick little second here. Although the creature has become the stuff of legend very quickly, its true origins can be traced back remarkably easy to a celebrated horror artist, Trevor Henderson. Artists don't get nearly enough recognition for their creative efforts out there as is, so I thought before we get into any of the storytelling, it was important to properly credit Siren Head's terrifying creator. Before any stories, video games, merchandise, or anything else Siren Head had appeared in, it was a design posted to Twitter by the Canadian horror artist Trevor Henderson in 2018. If you're at all a fan of Siren Head, I would more than recommend looking up some of Trevor Henderson's other creations because they're all that good. Now with that in mind, here's 5 of some of the better Siren Head creepypastas, campfire stories, and general spooky tales from across the internet. Number 5. The first sighting. In some of the backstory Trevor Henderson supplied for the character, the creature's origins state that it was first discovered in the early 60s. The first reported canonical sighting of Siren Head being in 1966, when a family that was on vacation to Arizona took an innocent photo, only to discover the maniacal creature had been lurking in the background. Now, initially being dismissed as some sort of camera error, the creature was relatively unknown until 20 years later in '96, when a young man and his friends were taking a similar vacation to Tanyard Creek, also in Arizona, when the trip was disrupted by the creature. The friends noticed something gigantic striding through the trees that was able to mimic their voices. All of the campers, save for one survivor, were felled by the creature, while the one remainder went on to spread the legend of Siren Head, emboldening it in the annals of modern folklore. It's said as well that there are ancient depictions of Siren Head that predate the sightings in Arizona, found on ancient rocks or cave paintings, indicating the Siren Head is not a new species or creature and has been around a lot longer than we think. There have been reports too of the creature being seen with variations in place of the speaker head that has become iconic, with other things like lampposts or jagged metal. It's unknown if this is to intone that the creature can change its head around, or if perhaps there are different species of the Siren Head out there. And if you're looking for way more stories about urban legends, cryptids, internet scares, we've got all of that and then some. If you can think it up, the odds are good we've done 2 or 3 freaky videos on it. So click on through, please subscribe if you like, and if you do, make sure to hit that little bell so you don't miss a single scream. But do that after you're done with this video, okay? Because I got 4 more Siren Head stories coming for you right now. Number 4, the hike. Our next story is called The Hike, and it goes like this. It was a dark, misty night as John, a seasoned hiker, embarked on a solo adventure in the remote wilderness. He had heard rumors about strange sightings and eerie sounds in the area, but dismissed them as folklore. As he made his way through this dense forest, a chilling sensation of being watched crept up his spine. Suddenly, a distorted noise, much like the distorted wail of a siren, pierced through the silence. John's heart raced as he scanned his surroundings, trying to locate the source of this sound. He found the mist growing thicker around him, obscuring his vision and heightening his stress. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly, terribly wrong. In the distance, through the haze and fog, a towering figure emerged. It stood at least 40 feet tall, with an unnaturally slender body, and limbs resembling towering metal poles. As John strained his eyes, he noticed 2 massive sirens where a head should have been, emitting an eerie, otherworldly sound that shivered down his spine. Paralyzed by fear, John watched as the monstrous entity moved with slow, deliberate steps, its sirens wailing in an unsettling pattern, creating a terrible symphony of dissonance. Its body seemed to blend seamlessly with the surrounding trees, camouflaging itself disturbingly efficiently. As Siren Head came closer, John could make out some of the details of its grotesque form. Rust-covered metal plates adorned its body, giving it an aged and weathered appearance. The creature's legs were disjointed, creaking with each step, as if they hadn't moved in years. The sirens continuing their haunting chorus, echoing through the forest. Filled with both terror and curiosity, John's instincts told him to run, but his curious nature compelled him to stay. He reached for his camera hoping to capture evidence, but his hands trembled uncontrollably. And just as quickly as it had appeared, Siren Head retreated back into the depths of the forest, disappearing into the fog. The sirens would fade, leaving behind an eerie silence. John was left standing, shaken and bewildered, unsure of what he had just witnessed. He would make his way back, his mind racing with unanswered questions. Was that his imagination or something sinister? The whole experience burned into his memory, a chilling reminder of the terrifying nature of the unknown. Number 3, the storm. Our next short Siren Head story is called The Storm, and it goes a little bit something like this. In the heart of a small, secluded town, a young girl named Emily lived with her family. The town was surrounded by dense forests, shrouded in an air of mystery. Emily was always drawn to the supernatural, her imagination running wild with curiosity. It would happen one fateful night that a storm was raging outside, and Emily awoke to an unsettling sound. The wind howled through the trees, sounding like the eerie wail of a siren. Intrigued, yet slightly apprehensive, she peered out her bedroom window, expecting to see nothing more than the rain-soaked streets. To her astonishment, the towering figure of the Siren Head emerged from the darkness, its sirens blaring with an unsettling harmony. The creature stood just beyond the reach of the streetlights, its elongated limbs blending seamlessly with the shadows. Fear pumped through Emily's veins, but an inexplicable fascination held her gaze, locking on to the imposing figure. Siren Head turned its siren-filled head in her direction, as if sensing her presence, and a shiver ran down her spine. The storm raged on, and yet Emily felt a deep connection with the creature. She sensed an ancient sadness emanating from it, a longing to be understood. Ignoring her instincts, she ventured outside, drawn by this overwhelming desire to console the mysterious being. Approaching cautiously, Emily extended a trembling hand towards Siren Head. To her surprise, the creature lowered the sirens, acknowledging her presence. The deafening wails subsided for a moment, replaced by a low melodic hum. In that moment, Emily felt a surge of empathy and understanding. She realized that this creature was not a monster but a lonely entity, yearning for companionship. With each passing moment, this connection deepened, transcending the boundaries of fear. But dawn would approach, and Siren Head retreated back into the shadows, bidding farewell with a mournful siren. Emily watched in both awe and sorrow as the creature vanished, knowing their encounter was but a fleeting, otherworldly bond. Beautiful, in a way. Number 2, The Journalist. The next story is titled The Journalist, and I think I know it well. My grandmother used to tell it to me, I think. It goes a little bit something like this. Deep in the heart of a sprawling city, a journalist named Alex was on the hunt for a captivating story. Rumors of a mysterious creature haunting the subway had piqued his interest. Armed with a camera and an insatiable curiosity, Alex descended into the darkness, ready to uncover the truth. As he ventured deeper into the labyrinthian tunnels, an eerie silence hung in the air. A distant hum of the city above was replaced by an unsettling stillness. Suddenly, the haunting sound of sirens filled the underground chamber, echoing off the cold, damp walls. Alex's heart raced, realizing he wasn't alone. From the shadows emerged the towering figure of the Siren Head. Its metal-like frame stood motionless, sirens blaring with that otherworldly resonance. Alex's hands trembled as he captured the creature's presence through the camera lens, documenting the encounter. In an unprecedented moment of daring, Alex mustered his courage and stepped closer, driven by this thirst for truth. As he stood face to siren with Siren Head, he noticed something unexpected. The creature seemed to have eyes glimmering of sorrow, a depth of emotion hiding beneath its menacing exterior. Alex's instincts had told him that Siren Head yearned to communicate, to convey this message that lay dormant within it. The journalist reached out tentatively, offering a hand in a gesture of understanding, and in that moment, a connection formed between the human realm and whatever the enigmatic world that Siren Head came from. But much like the last story, as swiftly as it arrived, Siren Head receded into the darkness, leaving Alex with an unspeakable sense of wonder and loss. The echoes of the sirens would fade, leaving behind an emptiness that only deepened his yearning for answers. From that day forward, Alex found himself consumed by this encounter, driven to uncover the creature's origins. His photographs and testimonies would become a beacon, a testament to the existence existence of a being that defied explanation, a being known as the Siren Head. And finally, number 1, the storm. This story describes an imaginary encounter with someone, a normal person living in a regular town, encountering it. Take a listen. Just imagine you live in a rural town that was evacuated days ago due to reasons you aren't yet aware of. You ride your bike to a nearby gas station trying to take advantage of the absence of people. It's 1 a.m. and the stars aren't even visible because of light pollution. Everything around you is still, very still, as if time itself had stopped. No crickets chirping, no birds whistling, no cars driving. You arrive at a gas station after a bike ride and it's conveniently but unsettlingly empty. Despite intending to loot everything you could, you were kind of hoping to find someone behind the register, someone you could just talk to. You grab everything you can and stuff it into your pockets. You exit the station and you hear the faint sound of a siren and you freeze. You calm yourself saying it's just the evacuation sirens again, but you know that it can't be. Because the siren that it would be coming from is on a pole right in front of you. To your dismay, the siren stops, leaving you in total silence. You begin to ride back home. 6 minutes into the ride back, the siren returns, only this time much, much louder. The shock of the noise freezes you. You fall off your bike, frozen with shock. And you hate the fact that you react this way. You always imagined yourself running when in uncertain or terrifying circumstances, but alas, you freeze here. You hear treetops rustling like bushes, twigs and branches snapping violently off them. Finally, you snap out of it and you begin to run home. The siren is getting deafeningly louder with each passing second. Your heart is hastily pounding against the walls of your chest. You don't even know what the hell you're running from. You sprint past an abandoned car and in the faint reflection, in its dusty side view mirror, you see it. An unspeakably tall being with mummified skin, small veins poking throughout. The smell of death, covered in flies, 2 sirens in the place of a head. You yell every expletive you've ever known. You run faster. All you can hear is the blaring sirens and the ringing of your ears. You run at your fastest speed, but every step it takes is 10 for you. It reaches forward and grabs you by the neck with its cold hands, and you scream into the starless, unforgiving night. It lifts you up to one of its sirens, dull, crimson-stained teeth. You try to let out one last scream, but it tightens its grip. You close your eyes and feel the worst pain and anger that you've ever experienced, and then nothing. That's spooky. That's downright spooky. Well, my ghouls and goblins, that is about all she wrote for this one. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. If you were listening to this to go to sleep, good night. I hope you have some sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next one.